All right, so when we're doing a push-up or a deficit push-up, basically any push-up, there's a couple things that we need to keep in mind to make sure that we're getting the most out of the exercise, especially for our pecs, right? Because this is technically a pec strengthening exercise, and one that we work on eccentrics and concentrics on. So positioning for the hands, first of all, pretty relatively easy. Make sure that you're stacked right under your shoulder joint, right? So wrist is stacked with your elbow under your shoulder joint. Usually right around here, right? Whether it's on the ground or on the plate. You want to make sure that you have full palm down, right? Full contact with the ground to create a really steady base of support, right? Now, the biggest issue sometimes that tends to happen is when we go into the push-up position, when we are weak in the pec, the tendency to go into the position, tuck our elbows in, and then come down is very dominant in so many people. What ends up happening is, as you can see, it stresses my anterior shoulder joint. So although it looks like I'm holding the position of a push-up, really and truly I'm just pressing with my front delt. And there's not much pec activation from that at all. So to get the pecs involved, what we want to do is when we do stack up, go into our push-up position, instead of thinking of tucking the elbows under, we think of them flaring out ever so slightly, which almost as if creates an internal rotation in our hand. So you can think about gripping the ground and then squeezing inward, right? If it helps for you to slightly turn your hand in, you can do that as well, but let's just try to keep the contact nice and equal and thinking about actually turning our hands in so that our elbows pop out. And you're gonna lock that there, and as you start your descent, the elbows come out, and now as you can see, the stretch is more my pec rather than my delt, right? So it'll look something like this. Okay, versus, right? Look at the shoulder play. In versus out, right? So we don't have any dip happening, we don't have any stress in the anterior shoulder joint. This is super important for long-term shoulder longevity and also for our pec strength. So again, remember, hands down, slight turn in, let the elbows come out, push off.